Concussions occur less frequently in jiu-jitsu than the striking arts, but they do occur. What is a concussion? A concussion is a traumatic brain injury where the brain rapidly moves back and forth inside the enclosed space of the skull. This causes the brain tissue to physically change shape, which stretches and damages the brain cells. This can lead to physical symptoms such as headache, dizziness, nausea, light and sound sensitivity, cognitive symptoms, memory loss, attention deficits, sleep dysfunction, sleeping too much, sleeping too little, trouble falling asleep, and emotional symptoms, anxiety, depression, etc. There are 3 grades of concussion. Grade 1 is a concussion where the symptoms last less than 15 minutes with no loss of consciousness. Grade 2, the symptoms last longer than 15 minutes with no loss of consciousness. And in grade 3, loss of consciousness occurs even for a split second. If you believe a teammate has suffered a concussion during training, here are some practical steps, because he or she may not even realize that he or she has suffered a concussion. First, stop training immediately and inform your teammate, coach, professor that you believe the teammate has suffered a concussion. If there has been any evidence of loss of consciousness, the teammate should be evaluated right away in the immediate care or the emergency room. Don't allow your teammate to drive home. The last thing we want is a concussed teammate driving home and being involved in a motor vehicle crash. The person should reach out to his doctor immediately so that a proper treatment plan can be set up, which usually includes rest, possible medications, and an in-person exam to evaluate the severity of the concussion. The 2 syndromes that we want to minimize are, number 1, Post-Concussion Syndrome, where concussion symptoms last longer than the expected recovery period. In a typical concussion, symptoms can last anywhere from 1 to 2 to 3 weeks. And the second syndrome we want to avoid is Second Impact Syndrome. This is where a second head injury occurs before complete recovery from the first head injury. In the worst case scenario, this can lead to brain swelling inside the enclosed space of the skull, which can be fatal.